Good to have you with us on this Thursday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Did you know that welders make more than philosophers? I mean, according to Marco Rubio, I think somebody in the media needs to ask him, what's your source on that? Because a government agency, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, has an analysis out back in May of 2014 that shows that those in post-education, in philosophy and in religion, religious teachers, they make over $70,000 a year. And welders make about $40,000 a year. So Rubio comes to the table in a debate with a piece of information that is false. And I think it's time for the media to call bullshit on it. I mean, when I sat there and I watched that and I heard this, because the other day I gave a commentary having listened to Rubio on the POTUS channel on Sirius. He was given a speech saying he wants to be the vocational president. He can't understand why we don't value these jobs in America. We don't value these jobs in America because, number one, you're anti-union. Number two, you've shipped a lot of them overseas. A lot of welding's done overseas when it comes to manufacturing instead of here in America. So when Donald Trump calls Marco Rubio a lightweight, I think this is kind of what he's thinking about. What's interesting is that nobody on that debate stage when Rubio said that corrected him. I mean, he was almost doubly wrong in his figures. Here's the sound cut.
Here's the best way to raise wages. Make America the best place in the world to start a business or expand an existing business. Tax reform and regulatory reform. Bring our debt under control. Fully utilize our energy resources so we can reinvigorate manufacturing. Repeal and replace Obamacare. And make higher education faster and easier to access, especially vocational training. For the life of me, I don't know why we have stigmatized vocational education. Welders make more money than philosophers. We need more welders and less philosophers.
The crowd goes nuts. That was supposed to be the line that really put Rubio over the top and, quote, put him in a position to win the debate. It's wrong. It's false. And Rubio needs to step forward and correct it. Or it's a character issue. He's willing to lie to the American people about this stuff? I mean, is this who this guy is? Let's go to Mitch Caesar, who's been around politics in Florida for a long, long time. Mitch Caesar joining us here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. He's the chairman of the Broward Democratic Party and former Florida Democratic Party chair. Mitch, good to have you with us.
Great to be with you, Ed.
Did you know that welders make more than philosophers?
Well, I didn't know that. I do totally agree with you that it's hard to aspire to a job that keeps lessening in quantity because they're being shipped overseas. But I guess if you could find the one welder who's also a philosopher, he'd be a rich person.
Rubio doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I mean, if you'll listen to that soundbite closely, and I'm going to play it again for everybody, it is generic speak. There's no detail until he gets to the vocational and throws out the piece of information that's totally false. And I'll give commentary over it. Here it is.
Here's the best way to raise wages. Make America the best place in the world to start a business or expand an existing business. Tax reform and regulatory reform. Bring our debt under control.
Generic garbage. That's generic garbage. Tax reform, regulatory reform, and also let's fix the energy sector so manufacturing jobs will go nuts. Then he throws this in.
Utilize our energy resources so we can reinvigorate manufacturing.
Make that connection. Well, make that connection. I got to hear that. Redo our energy sources so we can release manufacturing in this country. The right wing in this country has greased the skids for politicians, have greased the skids for because they've lined the pockets of the politicians if they vote this way, to grease the skids to make sure that we ship these manufacturing jobs overseas. How many times do I have to interview Scott Paul, the Alliance of American Manufacturing, to explain exactly what's happening to manufacturing in this country? Rubio's a liar. And then he throws this out.
Repeal and replace Obamacare, and make higher education faster and easier to access, especially vocational training. For the life of me, I don't know why we have stigmatized vocational education. Welders make more money than philosophers. We need more welders and less philosophers.